of the Penn Sports Network Podcast. Latino officio and installing the Porterfield.
With Caroline Walsh.
This is Tara Preston.
This is Kyla with Penn Sports Network.
Have you surprised yourself this year?
What was it like when you started out in high school?
I can have my quiet moments, but I'm very vocal with you.
I think it didn't really get serious. In this week's episode of the Penn Sports Network Podcast, IUP diver Jordan Burkey sat down with our sports editor. Burkey discussed her time as a gymnast before transitioning to dive, as well as a life-changing medical diagnosis that turned her life upside down. To find out why she doesn't eat fruit and to hear the rest of her incredible story, continue listening. Hello everyone, I'm back. My name is Maurio Damiano. I'm the sports editor over at the Penn. Today we are joined by a very special guest. The lovely Jordan Burkey has joined us today. She's taken time out of her very busy schedule to spend with us, so we're very grateful. Jordan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
So we were talking a little bit before, and apparently you don't like fruit.
No, absolutely not.
So what's up with that? Why don't you?
I don't know. I've never liked fruit.
This is like the texture.
The textures, the taste. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to be a fruit girly, but I'm just not.
Fruit, really? But you like vegetables though, right?
Yeah, I like vegetables.
What else do you eat? Anything else?
Carbs.
Yeah, carbs like a lot.
Carbs all the time.
Pasta or rice or what?
Pasta.
Yeah, pasta.
Sure. Definitely pasta. I had Olive Garden yesterday.
Don't even get. Where's Olive Garden at?
Greensburg.
You went all the way to Greensburg to go to Olive
It's
Garden?
only 40 minutes away.
That's crazy because I actually live in Greensburg, so I know exactly where the one you're talking about is.
So why are you surprised that was
Because
so
I feel like
far?
going 40 minutes for Olive Garden is like a little out of pocket.
Well, I mean, we also went shopping.
Oh.
So
Did you go to the mall?
No, we didn't. We went to Target and like Five Below, TJ Maxx, that kind of stuff. But it was a Sunday. The mall closed at 6.
There's only a few restaurants I feel like I would drive like 40 minutes for. I feel like.
Olive Garden's one of them.
Yeah. What about Popeyes? Would you drive?
No, absolutely not. Popeyes is foul.
What's wrong with Popeyes?
It's not Chick-fil-A.
Okay. Let's get down to the real business. Okay, so for those who don't know, Jordan, she is a diver for the IUP swim team. And diving wasn't always your main sport. You did gymnastics at first. When did you kind of get involved with that and kind of talk about what that was like for you?
So I started gymnastics when I was 2, 3-ish.
Okay.
And my mom put me in it. We did like the Mommy and Me classes, that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything too serious until like 7 or 8, and then I joined the actual team, and yeah.
So you joined the actual team. Was it for like a school or was it like a different kind of organization? Like kind of how did that work?
Yeah, so it was for USAG. It wasn't for school. My school never had gymnastics. It was just a program outside of school that I joined and then stuck with.
So you were very successful. You were a 2-time state champion.
Yes.
What was that like for you? Were you nervous? Like, do you remember anything about that? Where was it at? Like, what was that like for you?
It was so long ago. I don't even remember where it was at. I just remember the last event was beam. And I remember being really nervous before, and I remember looking up at my mom and my dad after the meet.
Okay.
Or after I finished beam. And they were just super excited, and I was like, I don't know why. Because they knew at that point that I had already won.
Okay.
And then, like, awards were announced, and I won on bars and then in the all-around as well. And then, yeah, I was still young. It was...
So how old were you when you won states?
11, 12.
So this was like a long time ago.
Yeah. I was a little baby still.
What do you, when you say beams, what do you mean by that? For the people who don't know.
So there's 4 events. There's
Yeah.
vault, bars, beam, and floor.
Vault is like, well, no. Isn't vault the pole vault?
No, that's track.
Oh.
Vault is the one that you run down and then flip over.
Okay.
Bars is the one you swing on, and then beam's the long 4-inch wide thing. And then floor is just the floor.
Did you put like the chalk on your hands and stuff?
Yeah, I actually hate chalk.
Why do you hate chalk?
Texture.
That's right. You don't like texture. Okay. When you won, what was your first reaction when you found out that you won state?
Really know what it meant. Like, I just
Yeah.
thought, okay, I just won another meet. Like, it wasn't anything, like, special. I don't think I really understood the significance of it until I was older. So yeah, I was like, okay, cool. My parents are, like, over the moon because I just won states, and I was just like,
So
Okay.
were you on a team, or was it like an individual thing with team? Like
So it's an individual sport.
kind of like swimming too, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like swim and dive. It's an individual sport,
Swim
but
and
you're on
dive.
a team. So
So like if you do really good but somebody else does bad, it doesn't necessarily drag you down. It's just
correct.
Like, you guys are part of the same
there's
organization.
individual awards and then there's a team award, but
Okay.
like it only takes the top 3 scores for your
Yeah.
whole team. So like it's more of an individual sport than anything.
And so the gymnastics, and obviously you transitioned to diving. Kind of, people who don't know your story, what kind of tell us what happened?
So I never did diving a day in my life until I came to college.
Okay.
I came to college just my first year, my freshman year, I was like a NARP. I was a normal person.
Okay. Okay. I don't.
You don't know the NARP phrase?
No. What is NARP?
Non-athletic, regular person.
Well, I play like basketball in like my free time, so mine's still a NARP. Or,
Yeah,
like,
you're a NARP.
so like just not on a team.
Correct. So like not on a college team, you're a
I'm
NARP.
good with being a NARP.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, the NARP life is nice.
It shouldn't have like a negative connotation.
Oh,
I feel
absolutely
like. I feel
not.
like it should
No.
be more like
I
positive.
love the NARP life.
Yeah.
I would be. Yeah.
So you weren't on the swim team when you first got here.
Correct.
Okay.
Knew
so
nothing
when,
about
when,
it. Wasn't really involved.
When did you start on swim then?
My sophomore year.
Sophomore. Okay. We'll get to that. So tell us what happened.
So I just missed flipping, and I always was flipping my whole life because of gymnastics and stuff.
Yeah.
But I just needed to get back to that, whether it was, I don't know. I didn't know what it was going to lead to, so I went in. I just kind of sat with it for a little bit, like, what can I do to get back into flipping? And then the summer of, it would have been 21 because of COVID, Olympics, I watched diving.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I can do that. I just need to learn how to land on my head instead of my feet.
Yeah.
And so, like, then I reached out to Coach Stoner and Coach Villa, and they started up the diving program that same year. So
diving hadn't been here yet.
I was, like, the first diving-only member of IUP. Yeah.
Well, it's an honor. So you talk about getting back to it. You had a medical condition did you have it from when you were born, or did you develop it?
Yeah, so
And what was it?
I have Chiari malformation. It's a chronic brain condition. They say it's some sort of birth defect, but I didn't know I had it until my sophomore year of high school. So I went my whole life of not knowing I had this brain condition.
Yeah.
I had symptoms and all this other stuff that goes with it, and I just didn't know that I had it. So I just went about my life not knowing I was in danger every day, and just,
What kind of, when you say you had symptoms, like what kind of symptoms did
So,
you
like, the symptom list for Chiari's is pages long. Like,
okay.
but, like, my symptoms, like, headaches, dizziness, blurry vision, like, numbness, tingling, like...
things that can be associated with
pretty much
other
anything.
kind of
Yeah,
conditions.
like, it can be...
Yeah.
all sorts of different things, but...
So you said you were a sophomore when you found out. How did you find out? Was it like a normal checkup where something happened?
Yeah.
What was it like when you found out?
So I was a sophomore in high school. I was getting these headaches, like, regularly,
okay.
and they were, like, debilitating. Like, I couldn't get up, I couldn't move, like,
yeah.
so my parents decided to, like, take me to the doctor, get treated, like,
Sure.
this stuff. So one of my doctors prescribed MRI. So I had, I think, 4 different MRIs done, and that's when I was diagnosed with Chiari's. And since then, like, my life was, like, changed, like, in an instant. Like, at that time, I was still doing gymnastics. Like, that was everything to me. And I got my diagnosis. It was, like, a random Tuesday. Both my parents are teachers, so I went to the same school that my parents taught at.
Oh, they
so
both taught at the same school.
Pulled me into my mom's classroom. They sat me down, and they're like, "We got your, what are those called?
Your MRI results?
Yeah, my
Your scans
results back. There we go. I
yeah.
couldn't think of that
No,
word.
that's all good.
They're like, we got your results back.
Yeah.
Like, you have Chiari malformation." And so, like, at that point, I already knew what Chiari's was because my dad was just diagnosed with this, like, 3 months before I was.
So is it like a genetic thing, maybe?
They say it's not.
Oh, okay.
They say it's not a genetic thing.
There's like a crazy coincidence.
But my dad, me, and my brother all have it.
Wow.
but they say it's not a genetic thing. So like a few years later, after everything that happened, they started to do like testing on us, like to see if it's genetic or not. But my dad and my mom sat me down and were like, this is what's going on. And I was like, okay, cool. So like, now what? Like that to me, it didn't change my life. It was just something else I had to deal with.
Okay.
It didn't change my life until they told me I couldn't do gymnastics anymore.
Yeah.
Once they said I couldn't do gymnastics, like I broke, because at that point gymnastics was what I did in my free time. It was what I did in the gym. It was what I did as soon as I was done with school. It was every single thing I could do. Like it was what I loved doing. So I like shattered when my parents told me that news, and all I wanted to know was, well, can I ever do it again? Yeah. Can I ever go back to it? And like obviously my parents didn't have all these answers because they didn't know. They just got my results. So we kind of sat with it for a little bit, and we scheduled an appointment with my doctor, Dr. Cohen, down at John Hopkins in Maryland.
Shout out Dr. Cohen.
He's the best.
Oh, John Hopkins. I heard of that. This one's ended in Maryland.
Yeah. Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah. That's like a famous, like...
Yeah, it's a very big...
You're official.
Yeah.
You're tough.
My mom was like, no, this is where we're going. You need the best.
No,
so, like,
sure, yeah.
It was just... Yeah, so, like...
What was that experience like for you? Like, did you have to go to a bunch of appointments down there? Like, you obviously had a surgery. What was the whole medical part like that? Because the thing that I kind of learned, and like, I broke my foot last summer, and like, that's obviously... nothing compared to that. But when people get injured and they have injuries like that, you kind of see the injury happen. And then if they come back, if they're fortunate enough to come back, you see that. But you don't really see the in-between, all the appointments and all the rehabs. Like,
no, for sure.
What was your medical, what was that like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Later that day after my parents told me, we went
So they told, okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So they told you like, hey, you have this disease and you can't do gymnastics. Was it like the same day?
The same exact day.
Okay.
So the same day I went to my gym.
Yeah.
With all my friends, with my favorite people, like my home away from home. Yeah. And I talked to my coach, and I was like, well, I guess my parents really talked to me, because I didn't have anything in my head. Like, I was just like, they talked to my coach, and I was there, and they were just like, this is what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. And like, at the time, my coach was really supportive.
Sure.
My teammates at the time, I loved them all dearly. They all hold a very special place in my heart because of how they stood whenever I was going through all that. But everybody was super supportive at first, and like, it was just crazy to like go from 100 to 0 and like not able to do anything. So we left the gym and we just went home, like, and just carried on with life until the doctor's appointments. I don't remember how many I had up until, but I remember going and meeting Dr. Cohen for the first time and him being like, your only option is surgery. Yeah. Like, if you ever want to do anything, like, because I could continue on with life and be fine. I would have symptoms and that kind of stuff. But I wouldn't be safe. Yeah. So, like, if anybody hit me in the back of the head with a ball, I could be paralyzed instantly. Like, simple things like that. Like, somebody just comes up behind me and smacks me.
If you hit your head on, I hit my head on something. I dropped my phone on my face the other day.
Like, so, like, simple things could have been debilitating to me. So, what Chiari's is like, your brain sits too low in your brainstem. Okay. Or sits on your brainstem. It's like, the way I explain it to people is my brain's in my neck. That's the easiest way for people to understand. So, one hit, I could have been internally decapitated.
Your whole life? Yes,
my whole life. And so I did gymnastics my whole life with this thing that I could have internally decapitated me.
That's crazy.
So, like, I landed on my head way too many times, like, and I could have been internally decapitated.
That's crazy.
And, like, now that's mind-boggling. That, like, I was doing all these flips and all these, like, things, and I could have been internally decapitated in any second. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, that is
like, that's wild, bro.
Crazy. Like, I'm trying to process that right now. Like, so, like, you could, like, get up here and, like, trip and fall, and, like, boom.
If I landed the wrong way, I could have been internally decapitated and my over.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you made it.
Yeah,
like, clearly you're okay.
I can't tell you how many times I would land on my head or do this.
Well, you're a gymnast. Like,
like, it would happen, like,
practice.
probably once a practice. And, like, So it was just, I don't know, it's so weird. But
Yeah.
so I went and I met Dr. Cohen, and
Shout out Dr. Cohen.
yeah, and he was just like, there's no cure for Chiari's.
Yeah.
But we can have surgery to make your life safer and help with symptoms, that kind of stuff. So I was like, whatever, cut me open, I don't care.
Okay, so you were like, surgery, you didn't even consider
My only question to him was, can I do gymnastics again?
Okay.
And as soon as he said yes, I was like, cool, cut me open right now, let's go. Like, everybody was like, well, weren't you nervous for brain surgery? And I was like, in my mind, I told myself, no, it's just brain surgery. I've gone through worse, which is, there's no thing that's just brain surgery.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing.
Brain surgery is pretty like, and it's crazy. I mean,
That's
that's the most
crazy.
important organ that you have.
Yeah,
in your
so
body.
like, I was like I remember going to bed that night before surgery and thinking, it's just brain surgery. I'll be back to gymnastics soon. Like, that's bonkers.
It seems like that's what kept you through it, though.
No.
And that was probably a good thing that you had that at the time.
Yeah, the only thing that kept me going was through gymnastics. So, yeah. I met with him. We scheduled surgery.
So it was just like you met him. We got to do surgery. Boom, surgery.
Pretty much. From what I remember, it's been so long, but from what I remember, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, it was pretty quick because I was diagnosed
Yeah, let's do a little time.
September, I think.
Okay, so September 2016, 17?
2020.
When did you graduate from high school? Okay, so that would have been
2017.
September 2017. You
September
get diagnosed with
2017.
this condition.
Like 98% sure it was September.
Okay, and then when do you
2017.
meet the doctor?
Then I meet the doctor October,
Okay, and then when surgery?
November.
So the craziest thing that like I kind of took away from that is within like a 3-month span.
Correct.
And that kind of, I think it's an overarching theme, I think, in life in general is how, like, quickly
Correct.
things can change for you.
Literally, it was an instant. My whole life changed.
So was the surgery, was it like was there any chance that it, like, if it failed, or was there, like, a risk?
So,
There had to be
because,
some risk.
there's always risk with surgery.
Facts.
So my surgery was November 15th, 2017.
Nice.
There was no, like, major risk other than, like, the normal surgery risks.
Sure.
But because there is no cure, there's nothing that really could have been done to change how I feel. So, like, having the surgery wouldn't guarantee anything other than my safety.
Okay.
So, to my parents, that was their top priority, was being safe and that kind of stuff. But to me, it was just, I don't care, can I get back to the gym?
Yeah,
Like,
thanks.
so, had the surgery. I was in the hospital for less than 48 hours.
So, okay, so you did stay, though.
Yeah,
it was inpatient. It wasn't
yeah,
outpatient. Okay. But 48 hours is not a very long time.
No, for
Yeah.
brain surgery, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was,
Did they have good food there at the hospital?
yes, oh my gosh, I got to, like, order what I wanted. I felt like I was at a restaurant. It was
What?
crazy.
I thought
remember,
hospital they just bring you like tuna fish.
well,
That's
like, it's
it.
John Hopkins, so they're a little bougier, but...
Yeah, I'm more of a UPMC guy myself.
No, but like, I remember ordering, like, chicken tenders and french fries, because I'm a chicken tender girl.
Okay.
But,
That's fine. Yeah, I like chicken tenders.
yeah,
Yeah.
not from Popeyes, but
From Popeyes.
No.
Definitely.
no, absolutely not.
Popeyes over Chick-fil-A.
No.
And I actually would mess with, on a good day, KFC too.
Ooh, that's foul.
Why
It's
do you
like
say-
Chick-fil-A, Popeyes.
Look, I get it that you get your surgeries from John Hopkins and stuff, bro, but like us lowly people, like Popeye, there's nothing wrong with Popeyes.
I'm a broke college student, but Chick-fil-A. All the way. Okay.
Anyway, so what was it like before your surgery? Like, do you remember, like, I had foot surgery, and I feel like I remember that day vividly. I remember waking up. I remember getting in the car. I remember getting there. Like, do you remember it vividly, or does it kind of just like...
Yeah, so because it's in Maryland,
Take me through that day.
we had to drive down
And where are you from? Apologize.
Hollidaysburg. So I'm from Pennsylvania. So I'm like
Where's that at?
40 minutes to an hour away from here. You know Altoona?
Okay, I know where Altoona is.
Right next to Altoona.
Okay, yeah.
So we woke up, we drove down to Maryland, which is like a 3.5 hour car ride.
Dang. And when was your surgery? When was it? It must have been early in the morning.
It was very early in the morning.
So you like got up and left it? Like,
Yeah, so we drove down. We stayed the night in a hotel.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it was me, my mom, my dad, and my grandmother. We all went down. We had Olive Garden before.
Olive Garden.
That
Olive
night
Garden,
we had
nice.
we always joked like my last meal, my last dinner. But
What did you get?
fettuccine alfredo.
Oh.
Dough.
I'm more of like a.
Of course you are.
I like rigatoni.
Oh. But like, what sauce? Marinara
The
or
5 cheese.
okay.
It's like it reminds you know what vodka sauce is?
Yeah.
It reminds me of vodka sauce, so I like that. But sometimes like I'll be feeling frisky and I'll get like I'll mess with some chicken alfredo.
Yeah.
It's got to be cooked right though,
Oh, for sure.
because if they cook the noodles wrong.
It's ruined.
Exactly. But anyway.
So then we stayed in the hotel.
Yeah.
We woke up bright and early
Sure.
and got to the hospital. And they checked me in, they did all this, and then I remember my parents actually got to go into the operating room with me.
Nice.
So they like literally walked me
Sure.
into the operating room.
Oh wow.
And then they put something in my arm and then I was out. That's the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
Like I remember that so well, like
Yeah.
looking over to my parents, having them put something in my arm, and then I was out.
Yeah. Sure. Did you remember waking up?
Yes. I woke up and I thought I was Spider-Man.
Nice.
So I had like
Yeah.
the IVs in my hand and they had
Facts.
little green things, so I thought I was Spider-Man, which
Cool.
was, kind of cool.
This has been a good couple minutes for you.
Yeah.
How many surgeries have you had?
So brain surgery was my first surgery ever.
Okay.
Since then, I've had 4.
That's great.
3.
So you've been
4
under
altogether.
anesthesia a lot.
Correct.
The anesthesia is crazy.
Horrible. Hated it.
You didn't like it?
No.
Oh,
I always wake up super nauseous from it.
Like I've only had surgery once, but I just remember like they took me into the room and they give you like the whatever drug makes you feel like real good right
Yeah,
before.
The cocktail drug.
Yes, they give me the cocktail drug, and I remember them wheeling me in, and I'm just like having the time of my life. And they bring me to the operating room, and they made me get on the table, which I thought I would be asleep beforehand.
No.
They put me on the table, and I just remember them saying like they were gonna strap me down,
Mhm.
and I'm like real claustrophobic, so I was like, "Oh, you just put me to sleep quick, please." And then when I woke up, it was crazy. My doctor, his name was McAllister Hogan, I think, but he works at UPMC. Shout out.
Shout outs.
No John Hopkins over here, UPMC. But he like I had read that he like worked with like the Steelers and the Penguins.
Oh, okay,
And
yeah.
I'm like a big Kenny Pickett guy. Like
Mhm.
I'll argue with anyone about Kenny
Is that the
Pickett.
kicker or the quarterback?
Oh my god. Anyway, it's the quarterback. But I just
knew it was
remember
one of them.
my only memory from like when I first woke up was just like shaking his hand and be like, Dr. Hogan, like, you know Kenny Pickett? And he was like, yeah, I know Kenny Pickett. And I was like, all right, bet. And the crazy thing is like, did you talk to your doctor a lot? Like,
No, you don't see them often.
because I swear, this man who literally my life is in his hands. I talked to him when we scheduled the surgery for about 5 minutes. I saw him for 30 seconds before the surgery. I saw him for 10 seconds after the
Right?
surgery.
No,
You know,
it's so weird.
it
Like
is
you
so-
just saw the inside of my head,
Exactly.
but like cool.
Where were your other surgeries at?
So I had my adenoids out because
Adenoids, what is that? Something in your-
tonsils and adenoids.
Okay.
So I just had those out, and
Nice.
then I've had 2 hip surgeries.
2 hip surgeries.
Yeah.
I think you broke your foot though too.
I've broken so many things in my body.
Oh, you just
we'd
don't-
be here all day.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay, so you had the surgery. What was the recovery like? Like, what could you not do? Like, what was that like? How long was it?
Recovery was so painfully slow.
Sure, yeah.
Like I could not lift anything. I could not do anything
That's
by myself. Like I remember I would be so angry at my mom because I wanted to just
Sure.
do things.
Yeah,
Like
facts.
I wanted to help her take groceries in from the car, and I wasn't even allowed to do that. So I wasn't even allowed to lift a gallon of like milk until I think 3 months post-op.
That is crazy. And 3
Yeah.
months is a long time.
Correct.
So this was in November. Did you go to school?
Yeah, so I had it. It was over like Thanksgiving break.
Okay.
So I only missed a week of school.
So,
was
what was going on? Like, could you carry your book bag?
No.
So you
Couldn't
just
carry anything. Everybody had to carry my books for me, and I was
That's
like,
crazy.
I'm like a queen right
I was
now.
about to say
like-
that must be nice. That's some
Yeah,
queen
like-
treatment.
Yeah. But I was just like going crazy because
Sure.
I just wanted to go do things. Like I
Yeah.
felt good. I just was not allowed because I had like over 300 stitches in my head from like all the layers in my head.
Sure.
But I was going crazy. I just
Yeah.
wanted to get back. I didn't have to do physical therapy or anything like that. Like I just had to
That makes sense.
go slow.
Yeah.
And like that kind of stuff, really work on like stretching my mobility. Like,
Mhm.
but I didn't have to go get therapy or anything for that. And then I was going back to Dr. Cohen several times.
Oh, that's good.
I went back to him I don't know, I want to say like 3 to 5 times before I got cleared.
So when did you, and like that 3 months, like that's the hardest part, not being able to do it. It doesn't sound like a long time, like in retrospect, but like during
it,
like,
it painful.
It's crazy. Yeah. When did you finally get cleared?
I want to say November, like
February or March?
February, March, okay.
May. Well, so
February,
you said for 3 months you weren't allowed to do anything, but I'm sure
correct.
You couldn't have been
slowly,
like I was
gonna
say
it was February that I could like slowly start
the lift stuff again.
Lifting and doing that stuff. But like I wasn't cleared to do gymnastics, everything I wanted to do for a long time. I don't even remember what that time frame looked like.
Sure.
I just knew it was forever.
So when you finally got to do gymnastics again, I'm assuming. I mean, what was that like for you? That must have been the greatest. That must have been. I can't even imagine.
That's what you think. You would think it was the best thing ever.
So it wasn't.
No.
Okay.
I went back to that gym.
Yeah.
And my coach that was so supportive at the time. She's like, we don't want you back.
What?
We don't want anybody that has your conditions
Dang.
back in our gym.
That's crazy.
So, my heart broke for the second time.
Yeah.
Worse than it did the first time. Because for the last however many years I was in that gym, like
you gave like
I
most
gave
of
my
your life
whole
to that.
heart to that gym.
Sure.
My sisters were in that gym. Like I spent more time with them than I spent with my own brothers. Like I'm like getting worked up, like talking about it. But like I was so I don't know. I don't even know. Like for the longest time I couldn't even talk about gymnastics.
Sure. Yeah.
Like even now it's like hard for me to talk about because it was just such a negative thing. So like my coach basically said, screw you, we don't want you back.
Was it because like they thought you were gonna get hurt?
I don't know.
Or was it just like
they never gave us an explanation? They just said we don't want you back.
That's crazy.
So I was done. I was just like over it. I never wanted to look at gymnastics, think about it, watch it, anything. But then again, missed flipping.
Sure.
So I like sat on it for a few more months and decided like I don't want this to be the end of like my gym story.
Go out on your own terms.
Yeah, like I don't want somebody telling me I can't do it anymore. Facts. Especially after I just went through brain surgery to get back here.
Exactly.
Like I'm getting back. So I decided to join a new gym.
So you went somewhere else? Because that was going to be my next question. I was like, did you consider, so you did go somewhere else?
I did go somewhere else and I was accepted with open arms. And like, they all knew my story. They all knew what I just went through. They went through like, and the girls there that I didn't grow up with, the girls like that didn't spend the last how many years with me, welcomed me in with just the biggest like arms, like come in, come join us, like we're so excited to have you. And the coaches there too, like they were so excited to have me, and it felt good to feel wanted again. Like and like know that like my worth doesn't it doesn't matter.
Your surgery doesn't define you.
Correct.
Exactly.
So I went back and I worked so hard. I've worked harder than I've ever worked in my life to get back to the level that I was at. Sure. And so I had surgery in November of 2017. And I competed my first meet back in February of 2019.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I came back and I had this new support system.
Yeah. Were you nervous before your first meet back?
Oh my god, I was so scared, bro. Like
I'm sure you were scared. I was about to say.
It was so horrifying.
Yeah.
But I loved every second of it. Like it's what I miss doing.
So do you still do gymnastics?
No, I'm so old. My body. So I competed my first meet, and then my second meet back, I broke my foot. So I was like, great. So we just had brain surgery, and now we're gonna break a foot. So like, cool.
What kind of what bone did you break?
I don't even remember.
Was it like
that was so long ago.
Where on the foot was it?
It was
like because mine was like if this was my foot, it was like right here.
You broke your fourth and fifth metatarsal.
Fifth metatarsal.
That's what I just broke last year.
You know that word.
Yeah.
Yes, fifth metatarsal.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think
not the fourth. It was just the fifth.
It was like my tibia, I think.
Oh, so
I think it was higher.
Okay.
But yeah, so I broke my foot and then I was out again. And then I was like, I'm going to hurt someone.
Did you have to get surgery? So you didn't have to get surgery?
No, I was just in a boot for a while.
Dang.
Yeah, so then I decided to continue to work. I was like, well, I can't do anything with my feet, so I'll just do bars, the one where you just swing on your hands.
Nice.
Yeah, so I was
with the chalk?
Yep. And I was like, we'll just do that.
Sure.
And I worked, and once I healed, I worked even more. And I was getting ready for my senior season, which is 2020, COVID year.
Oh, man.
So
That's crazy.
But I didn't even get to make it to the COVID part because I tore something in my hip. So then I was just out. After that, I was out.
And then you had surgery.
And then I had 2 hip surgeries after that because of that. So
that's crazy.
I was like, man, like my body quit long before I wanted to. And then COVID happened, so I wouldn't have even gotten to doing it anyway. But
so, and then you get the IUP.
yes,
And you're living that NARP life.
living that NARP life.
The NARP life, which, hey man, I can't complain. Like, I like the NARP life.
I love the NARP life. I've been a NARP for the last month, and it's been great.
Okay. What you mean? I thought it's swimming season.
Just because we have nationals go for another week, and then we're done. But I've been living the NARP life right now, so it's nice.
So you're a NARP for your first year.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? What's that stand for again?
Non-athletic regular person.
So you're a non-athletic regular person for your first year, and then like your second year, how did the whole swim team? You said that they created the dive.
Yeah.
It was new. Did you reach out to the coach? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, so I reached out to Coach Stoner, and I was like, is there intramurals? Is there a club team? Like, not expecting to be on the IUP swim and dive team, just wanting to know more information. And he's like, well, lucky for you, we're starting up the diving team. You can be on it. And I was like, you guys know I have never done this, right? And they're like, yeah, no, we'll still take you. So I was accepted, again, with open arms, and I started diving. And yeah.
So, okay. How high up, like when you dive, like how high do you dive from?
So, in D2, there's only 1 meter and 3 meter.
Oh.
So, like, not super high. We
not
don't
like
get
60. I'm thinking of like the 20 meters, like the
no, we don't
the
get
TikTok.
to do platform diving.
Okay.
That's only D1. We get to do 3 meter and 1 meter.
That's still nothing wrong.
Yeah, 3 meters is what? How many feet up there?
So,
A lot.
what I was gonna ask before I asked that, because I lost my train of thought. Why diving? Why swimming? Like, what was it? Like a research? Was it just something you saw?
Well,
You were watching the Olympics,
I was watching
right?
the Olympics,
Okay.
and I was like, well, I can already do all these flips and twists and stuff.
Okay.
Somebody just has to teach me how to land on my head.
So it inspired you.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is so ironic to me that I left a sport that could have internally decapitated me to do another sport that I land on my head every time.
Yeah,
it's just so ironic to me, and it's so funny. So
and you can't land on your feet because of your foot surgery.
I can. No. Yeah, my feet are fine.
Why can't you land on your feet?
You can. In diving, you can.
Oh, so
Yeah.
what I'm saying, like when you said like I need to figure out how to land on my head. Not
Oh,
on my
just
feet.
because diving's more geared that way. You
Oh.
just land on your head. You've never been to a diving meet, have you?
I've been to like a swimming pool before. Like I have a diving board.
Yeah, and do you go on your feet or your hands?
Like what depends on how I'm feeling that day. Like if I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll go.
Okay,
and,
so your assignment is to go to a diving meet next year.
I bet. When
Okay.
are they?
Zinc.
Oh no, when? Where? Not where? When?
Oh, next year. Yeah, you missed this one already.
So, well, how was your season then?
It was good.
Yeah.
We had a good season. We had a brand new coach this year, and a GA. So like we had like 2 coaches.
A graduate assistant.
Yeah.
2 coaches.
Yeah.
So y'all don't normally have 2.
No.
Oh.
We were lucky to have
How
one.
many people are on the team?
4. So
there's only
2
4 people on the swim team.
No. 4 people in the diving team.
How many people are on like the whole like?
As a group?
Yeah.
Close to 50. Because men's and women's are together.
And there's only 4 divers.
There's only 4 divers. So there's me, Emma, and then Jeremiah and Nick.
Shout out Emma, Jeremiah, and Nick.
Yeah, I love them, my little people. But
Oh. So you must have like some type of school record then, like.
yeah, no.
No.
We don't actually know what the school records are.
Oh well, was this like the first dive team ever, or was there one that like?
No, so there was a dive team back, and
Okay.
like so we lost all those records. We don't actually know what anything is.
Yeah.
So we just kind of dive for fun, but like still.
Whenever you dive, like, is that about your medical condition? I mean, you can't help that, right?
Yeah,
being
so,
in the
like-
back, thinking about it.
Yeah, my coaches actually are really good about it. Like there aren't many times where I have like flare ups and I'm in a lot of pain or like that.
So do you still have some type of symptoms that are like kind of mild?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I'm on medication to help with like my symptoms and that kind of stuff. I have a headache every single day of my life, and it's just
Dang.
something like
You just have to live with.
yeah, it's just like okay, just another day with headaches. But there are days that are worse than others, and like other symptoms like I stutter a lot.
Okay. I didn't notice.
I don't think I've stuttered so far. So
I stutter sometimes. I stutter sometimes too. I didn't have that. But I still stutter.
Like whenever I'm having what we call like really bad brain days, my speech is so messed up and like my vision gets messed up. My head, I'm like dizzy. Everything's spinning on me, which makes diving really hard.
Sure.
But when I am having those bad brain days, I actually had one right before our last meet. Like it was like the practice right before meet, and I was having just like it just hit me out of nowhere, and I was having this brain day. And I just laid on the pool deck, and I just laid there eating Skittles until like everything stopped moving, and like it was like so weird. It was such a weird like experience because I like stood up out of the pool and it hit me, and I like fell back into the pool. I was like, oh my god, just because I was so dizzy, like it just hit me.
So you just get dizzy.
Sometimes. It happens, and there's like no way to control it.
Yeah.
And my coaches are so good; they're so supportive with it. They're like, take what you need, like go get away, like lay down, do what you need to do until you're ready to get back on the board and when you know it's safe to get back on the board. So like my coaches, my teammates, they're all amazing, and they all know, like everybody on the team knows that my brain's been cut into, and again, like I was welcomed with open arms again, and it was the greatest experience ever. Like I mean, of course, like joining a new team's horrifying.
Sure.
And like
especially at college. So
it was so scary because like at that point, like my freshman class already made those connections, and I was like, it was kind of like I was a transfer.
Sure.
Coming in like that sophomore year, and I was like, they already made these connections. Like I'm gonna be so left, and I'm like a diver. I'm not actually a swimmer, but the swim team and the diving team, like we're all so close, and it's so much fun.
You seem pretty cool. I feel like you might have fit in pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
So let's end with this. If you could say something to your younger self before what had happened, or some piece of advice, kind of, what would it be and why?
Probably don't be afraid to try new things because it all works out. It all has its purpose. Because back then I definitely did not think, like I thought the world was just against me, and everything works out. Like everything happens for a reason. I know that's cheesy, but like everything happens for a reason.
Tough. All right. Well, I think we're about out of time. Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.
I have a good off season, right?
Yeah.
So what's the off season regimen look like?
We just
do y'all practice?
Yeah.
What does your practice look like? I know that's so weird, dumb. I can't help myself. What is it like? You just dive a bunch or
Yeah, kind of. So it's just repetition,
And do you do the cardio too?
Oh god, no.
Okay.
Like if you asked me to swim a lap,
bro,
I would drown. On senior meet, actually. Okay. So when we
are you a senior?
Yes.
Oh.
But I'm coming back. Don't worry.
Figure senior. Yeah. Okay.
So whenever the senior meet, they always do the diver relays, or they make the diver swim.
Nice.
And I swam breaststroke this year, and it was horrifying.
Yeah.
I can't swim to save my life.
Oh, me neither.
It's so humbling because oh my god.
Well, I remember I was watching the PSAC championships, and I was watching it with TG, and I remember they kept going back and forth, and I was like, dang, I was like, when does this end?
No,
it wasn't 40 laps or something.
It depends.
But what is the most? It's 25
the
laps.
The mile, which is
it's 40 laps.
It's more than that. The mile.
More than 40?
I don't know.
I can't even sometimes when I swim, I'll try to go down and back twice and try to keep my breath. I'm like, these people are going back 40 times.
Going down is a 25.
25 meters.
Yards.
Same thing. So if it's 25 yards down, it means down and back is 50.
Correct.
Which is what's that, 150 feet? And a mile is
I don't do math. Let me figure out. Let's see.
Hold up, I'm
Who
good
can
at
we
math.
call that's on the swim team?
A mile is 5,260 divided by 150.
Your math is math. I'm calling Rachel Blackburn.
450.
She'll know how many laps are in the mile.
It has to be I'm trying to think. It has to be I'd say 35.
I think it's 50.
It can't be 50.
It has to be.
It has to be 40.
Rachel Blackburn's not going to answer me. Let me call Brooke Christian.
Because if it's 300 for down and back. No. 300 would be down and back twice. That's 4 laps. 3 times 4, 12.
Oh my god, none of my friends were answering me. This made me so sad.
I thought you were just talking about how much they support you and how they welcome you.
Yeah, no, nobody's answering.
Answer your call? Okay, well, it must be a lot.
Wait, why can't we just use Google? How many laps are in 8-mile swimming edition. 50-meter.
All right.
Okay, this is a lot more information than I needed to know.
All you have to do is just like
33.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I think my math worked well.
I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
that's okay. Well, anyway,
No, but
like I was saying before, thank you for joining us. Good luck with the off season. Good luck with everything you got
Yeah.
going on. I know you're a teacher. Good luck with
yeah,
that.
thank you.
Student teaching. Hopefully that's
Yeah.
going well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up with Jordyn and the swim team. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time. So have a good spring break.
Bye.